Science Explorers! Carrie here with Ghost STEM. Do you hear that quail in the background? Well, learning about woodpeckers from Laura Navarrete, the Forest Service biologist, inspired me to come outside and listen for birds in my neighborhood. I'm finding it really relaxing to sit quietly and simply listen to the surrounding sounds. And I notice that the more I practice listening, the more birds I'm starting to hear. For the first part of this discovery challenge we're calling The Bird is the Word, we're going to practice our listening skills. You'll head outside and play a game called Sound Map. In this game, you'll listen and record what you hear, kind of like how Laura did. But you'll record all the sounds you hear, not only birds. To play the sound map game, we will sit quietly in one spot with our paper, pencil, and clipboard. Once you have chosen your spot, you will mark an X in the center of your paper. The X marks where you are sitting. When you hear a sound, make a symbol on the paper to represent the sound. The location of the mark should show the direction and distance of the sound from where you are seated. So a sound that is close and in front of you will be marked close and in front of your X. And a sound that is far and behind you will be marked far and behind your X. You don't need to draw a detailed picture for each sound, just a simple mark. For example, a few wavy lines could represent a gust of wind, or a circle with a triangle beak could be a singing bird. Simple marks keep our focus on listening rather than on drawing. To increase your hearing ability, make fox ears by cupping your hands behind your ears. This hand position will capture more sounds. If you want, maybe close your eyes while listening. Play for about 4 to 10 minutes. After you are done, and if you are playing this game with others, be sure to share your sound map with someone else. Maybe consider sharing what sounds were the most familiar to you. What sound had you never heard before? Do you know what made the sound? What sound did you like best? During the sound map game, if you heard a bird or any other animal, do you realize that you were sitting in that animal's habitat? Like I was sitting in the quail's habitat? Well, a habitat is the environment in which an animal lives. And every animal's habitat includes the needs for food, water, shelter, and space. As we learned from Laura, the white-headed woodpecker has specific habitat needs, which includes the shelter of large trees and the space of an open canopy. And it's not just white-headed woodpeckers. Every organism has specific needs for food, for shelter, for space, and even specific amounts and kinds of water. For example, I've noticed nearby quail going in and out of this brush pile a lot. Not just today, but for the last couple of years. Did you see that quail fly away as I walked up? Based on my evidence, I suspect this is part of the quail's habitat. Specifically, its shelter. And guess what? Even you have habitat needs. We can learn a lot about birds and their habitats by watching them eat. So let's build some bird feeders. But wait just a sec. This is the Explore Science Club. We don't just make bird feeders, we're gonna design bird feeders. Different birds like the woodpecker and the quail, they're all adapted to eat specific kinds of foods. Some will eat just insects, some will eat just seeds, others berries, some sap or nectar. And then there's quite a few out there that will eat just a little bit of everything. And many birds will actually eat quite a few things that you might have in your kitchen, like seeds and nuts, or apples and bananas, and even peanut butter. If you want to do more research on what birds eat to help you decide which foods you're going to use in your feeder, we've got some links of resources in the description of this video. All right, you're going to need some supplies. This supply list is really just a list of guidelines. Use your creativity to design your bird feeder. You'll need some container to hold your food. Think about a pine cone or toilet paper roll or a milk carton with a hole cut into it. Even half of an orange peel will work to hold sugar water for hummingbirds. You can use nuts, seeds, apples, bananas, raisins that have soaked in water for the actual food. And many birds eat peanut butter, and things like seeds and raisins stick to it really well. You'll probably need some kitchen stuff, like spoons, knives, or little bowls. It will really depend on your design. If you want to attract hummingbirds, you can dissolve sugar in water. You'll need 4 parts hot or warm water to 1 part sugar. You'll also need a way to hang your feeder. String, strong tape, or wire should work. And then you'll need something to poke holes in things. I'm using a hole punch. You'll need some scissors to cut things with, and then also some newspaper or a tray. That just helps keep surfaces clean. To help you think through your own bird feeder design, I'm going to share a couple of really simple ones with you. And this first one, you might have done some sort of variation at some point, maybe with a pine cone. I'm using a toilet paper roll today. So I'm simply going to use a toilet paper roll, smear it with some peanut butter, and put some nuts and seeds on it. I'm going to add a little variation. I'm going to add some fruit to it. I'm going to chop up some apple, and then I've also been soaking some raisins, and I'm going to stick some raisins on it too. So here we go. The first thing I'm going to do, just so that my hands aren't all icky when I do it, I'm going to use my hole punch, and I'm going to punch a hole on each side so I can hang my bird feeder. All right, so there's my first step. And then second step, I'm gonna go ahead and start chopping my apple. I've got this really nice kid-friendly knife. You wouldn't have to, just use whatever knife that you have. All right, so I've chopped up about half of my apple. Feel free to eat the other half of your apple. And I'm gonna start smearing my toilet paper roll with peanut butter. I'm gonna move my tray underneath me in case I make a mess. All right, I've smeared my peanut butter. Now I'm gonna roll it in my nuts and seeds and add some apples and raisins. I have my first bird feeder. I'm going to take some string and string it through the holes that I made. So now I will take it outside and find a place to hang it. There you go. There's a couple of lessons I learned when I was making my feeder that I want to share with you. First of all, the more peanut butter you have on it, the thicker you put it on, the more things will stick to it. Okay, so I would recommend a pretty thick spread. I probably could have put a little bit more peanut butter on there. The other thing is some of my apple pieces were a little bit too big. So I'd recommend really chopping your apple pieces pretty small. All right, so I've also noticed that there are hummingbirds in my neighborhood, and I would love to provide a little feeder for them. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna use this orange peel. I need to dig out the insides of the orange, and I'm gonna fill it with some sugar water that will serve as kind of nectar for the hummingbirds. So here I go. If you've ever eaten out of a grapefruit like this, maybe you'll know, but I'm just gonna scoop out the insides, put it in here, and here we go. Your hands might get a little bit sticky, so you might need to go wash your hands. So my orange was pretty small, but you might have an even bigger one. And if you wanted to use grapefruit too, that would work. That would be an even bigger bowl. So you can use my hole punch. I'm gonna just punch some holes in my orange there. So there are my hole punches. And now I'm going to make the sugar water. So we need 4 parts water to 1 part sugar. So I'm gonna put 4 tablespoons, like about a tablespoon here, and I'm gonna add 1, 2, 3, and 4. The warmer the water, the more easily the sugar will dissolve, and then I'll take a tablespoon of sugar and pour it into my water. I'm gonna stir it up. And in order to have a place to put this sugar water, I'm gonna drink the rest of my water. I'm gonna pour my sugar water in here. And I'm gonna go ahead and string up my orange peel. I have my little dish here that I'm gonna hang out and put my sugar water in, and I'll go find a place where I'm gonna hang up my bird feeders. I found a place for our bird feeders. It's close to my house, so I'll be able to observe what birds come to it regularly. Actually, I can see this spot from my kitchen window. And also, it's in a place where if birds poop around here, it doesn't matter. Be mindful of where you put it, because where there's a bird feeder, there's gonna be bird poop. All right, so here's my hummingbird feeder. And here's the other bird feeder. So I encourage you to take some time every day to observe your bird feeders and see who's coming. And if you know, that's great, maybe record it. And if you don't know, maybe check the internet, maybe check some books that you might have around, or check with an adult, see if they know what kind of bird it is. And you know what? If nobody's coming to your bird feeder, that might be an invitation to try again and redo your design. Because you know what? A lot of times when we fail at something or we have to redo something, we learn so much more by failing and going through that process than just getting it right the first time. So if nobody comes, don't worry, try again. As we wrap up this discovery challenge, bird is the word. I hope you enjoyed practicing your listening skills and mapping sounds wherever you are. I also hope you learned a little bit more about habitats and continue to learn about bird habitats near you through your bird feeders. Now it's time to share your sound observations and bird feeder designs. I can't wait to check them out. You know, I'm gonna stick around and I'm gonna listen for some more birds. Until next time, keep exploring.